All right, so here's the thing. The goal, the integrated, all of me, I'm not going to have all the memories. I'm not going to have all the access to everything because I can't have that here. But I was going to become integrated, and that I wouldn't necessarily be experiencing the always having to go into a certain place to access information, that it would just come to me. Now, it has happened. It has always happened to a point. I just didn't always realize what was going on, and that would become more obvious. So what is happening is this virus situation that has come on. There is a virus, but the situation surrounding it, the quarantining, the locking down, it is part of a process to help, I'm going to call modern humanity, who considers himself to be of the highest run of humanity, that has built up the system of survival of the fittest. It has a school system, it has a work system, it has a food system, it has a water system, it has all these systems that are set up in a way that's not really for the benefit of the individuals. Individuals are used and tossed aside in every part of this. From the time the child is born and is put into daycare to the time they get old and are put in a nursing home, they are always just one more cog used and thrown aside when you can't benefit the rest. Survival of the fittest. If you're not the fittest anymore, then we don't really care about your survival and your importance. And your importance is only important when it helps, when someone else can use it. If someone else can't use what you have to offer, then what they're trying to attain and gain, then you're not valuable. This whole system has to come down. It is coming. It's already coming down. It's already breaking apart. They're trying desperately to hold it together as much as possible, make things go back to as normal as possible. The school systems are going down. You're seeing that a lot of the manufacturing things are having problems, and it is not easy for us to, as humans, to process this. We're going to a bit of a panic. If it had happened literally like overnight, the panic would have been worse. Doing it this way is a slowly weaning us off of this continuous and constant control system that is not for the benefit. Everything's coming down. Anything that's not true. Whether it is a corrupt politician, a big business, an organization that hides child abuse, or in a family, somebody who's lying to their other family members. It's all the same thing. You can't say, oh, that is so much worse than the other. No, it's not. It's all the same thing. It's all blocking that which is divine. And so it all has to go away. It all has to crumble away. It all has to disappear. It all has to be gone. And that's what we're experiencing. How long this process is going to go on, it will depend upon how stubborn and stupid people are. The more they try to hold and rebuild that which is being torn down by God himself, then the longer it's going to take to acclimate into what is going to be new and different. What is it going to look like? It's sort of like this. It's going to be messy. It's going to be messy. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be scary. But if we're quiet, we'll see it's better. It's like, okay, schools shut down. People had to work from home. Bosses and those that control were complaining. But a lot of families said, you know what? I can wear comfortable clothes. I can eat healthier foods. I can spend time with each other. We can play this game. Some people are finding this to be wonderful things have happened because of it. Those who are having a lot of difficulty with this process are, in many cases, those that are most strongly entrenched in this whole survival of the fittest mentality. they are going to have the most difficulty. Those who have lost themselves and don't even see themselves, don't even know that there is a themselves. They define themselves solely by the structures that have been put around them. Those are going to have the most difficulty. God is very kind. He knows how hard this is. He knows how hard it is right now, but he also knows how hard it is to get you out of it. It's not going to be an easy process. And he's trying to do it in just the right way so as to make it the most comfortable. That's why it hasn't already happened. Could it have already happened? Should it have already happened? Yes. Yes. He should have just said, okay, it's all wrong, boom, done, it's done. But he's kind. And he's been patient and kind and weaning you off the drugs slowly. A little bit down, show you it's bad, a little bit down, show you it's bad, a little bit down. But there comes a point when the slow weaning off, like saying, it's like if you have someone who's addicted to nicotine. You can slowly bring down the amount of cigarettes. You can bring them down the cigarettes. You can give them Nicorette gums or Nicorette patches and things like that to help them break their addictions. And there's things there to support and help them through this. But if you do all the slowly weaning them down, if you do the therapies to try to help them break through this, make this situation easier, and you do all that, but every time you get them down a little bit, you get them down another level, they go back and do even more than they did before. There comes a point where it's like, okay, the nice easy method isn't going to work. So he's been trying to help have as many people as possible, as many souls as possible, to break free, to wake up, to realize what's going on, so this will be easier for them. Those who are the most determined to stay in this, they're going to come off of it. They will come off of it because it's not going to be allowed to exist. It's not going to be here. But for those who are the most determined to hold on to these, whether it's societal, structural, or personal lies and non-divine qualities, there is a point where there is no more waiting. This person is not going to take the easy method, so they're going to have the hard method. They're going to have to be the equivalent of locked in a psych ward, bouncing off the wall, screaming their head off, skin crawling, pain and suffering, because they wouldn't do it the easy way. They had the opportunity and they didn't do it. And we're coming to the point where, okay, we're going to go through the very, very bad detox. And when you get to the other side, everything that you were addicted to is never going to be present anymore. It's not going to be there. It's not going to be available. It's all, when I get to the other side, then I will be able to eventually find it. It will not exist. It will not. And how much of you the person you are, is tied up in the addiction will be lost. If your personality is strongly entrenched and strongly tied into this addiction and these patterns, those parts of your personality are going to be lost, and it's not going to be comfortable. So, yes, I have been absolutely panicked at these new revelations. Because, okay, I now realize, I have always realized, I've always known that it was coming to this point. There's always been an end date when this was going to be no more. There always was an end date. And subconsciously, I will call it, I knew when the clock was ticking. I could feel when the clock was ticking. Things were being not motivated. What is that word? It's the things who have been, I can't think of the word, put into alignment so as to make sure that I was going to be at the right place at the right time, and that we were going to be at the right place at the right time. So it was a carefully orchestrated plan as to how to get me a comfortable home, how to give us time to learn about our divinity, to connect to our divinity, connect to our light, connect to our creativity. Because creativity and love and wonder and planting things in the garden and watching them grow and painting in the house and doing costumes and laughing and playing, that all connects you to your divinity. And we were given that time to heal, to be ready, so that at this particular point, where we are right here, we're at the cusp of things about, we had already been weaned off of a lot of the other stuff. That was what we were supposed to be doing. That was what we were going for. That's what we were here for. And a lot of people, there's been a great awakening. A lot of people have been talking about the Great Awakening. They're getting out of their religions. They're becoming more mindful. Because there is an awakening. It has been going on everywhere. It's not coming from outside. It's coming from inside. Everybody's divinity has been pulling and tugging at them, waking them up. And many are going to have this process be so beautiful and wonderful. There's not going to be anything bad. It's just going to be like, yes, I've gotten rid of all that old skanky stuff. It's like if you've been sick for 3 or 4 days and sweating and sick, and then you didn't take a shower, and then you go take a shower or a bath, and you wash off all that sweat and gunk and sick, and you come out and you feel so fresher and released. That's what it's going to be like for so many of people. They're going to come out, and it's going to be like Habubu come through. They're aligned to their divinity. They're going to be great and bright and light, and like, oh, I didn't even realize I was that gunky. Oh, I feel so good. I feel so alive. It's so bright. But for those who have every step of the way, every time they've been try to be brought to more in line to divinity, those who made jokes of and resisted political correctness, they made it as though it was a bad thing. Learning and opening up and seeing this is not an appropriate thing. This is not a right thing. It's not just a word. It was a trying to wake up the souls. This is something that were wrong to get them to move away from it. Those who have done those things, God is coming. God is coming. And He's going to align everything to divinity. And anything that has blocked, twisted, torn, or been distorted in any way is going to be realigned. And those who have held to those distortions, to that darkness for the longest, it is not going to feel as comfortable to have those distortions suddenly realigned. It is not, and if their personalities and their identities are very much entwined with these distortions, it is going to fall away. You are going to have people who large segments of who they believe they are, how they see themselves, it's just going to away. It will not be there anymore. And it's not going to feel as comfortable for them. It is necessary. It is necessary. And for some of those people, it will be like a hell experience. And it will be like they have lost who they were and that they do not exist anymore. Because for some people, if their soul is so completely dark and twisted, all will be left, okay, it's like in that movie, Never-Ending Story. Remember the Never-Ending Story where everything was crashing and falling and crashing and falling, and she just, and Bastien just had to give her a name. She just had to give her a name, and he hesitated, and he hesitated, and he hesitated, and the longer he hesitated, more and more disappeared, and disappeared. And finally, when he finally broke down and gave her a name, all that was left was a single spark. It was only this. It was that single spark. For some who have been so completely to their core, and all their personality and all their experiences have been tied in and twist into this twistedness. When they are realigned to divinity, it will become, all that will be left is that single spark. That single beginning divine spark. They will go back to that divine spark. It will only be that divine spark. They will not be the personality. They will not be the person. It'll be like the People that had existed would have been ripped and shredded apart until they were no more. And then the spark is just the spark. And that spark will be nurtured and treated kindly and will grow. And it will never be allowed to go down those paths again. But it might not be the same. Though the energy was the same energy, it would not be the same person. And that is where we are. That was when we were just trying to discuss the singularity. They may go down, some souls will return to the singularity, to the spot. Some of those souls may actually be integrated back into God's whole, and no longer even be an individual. Their individual energy may have been such that it needs to be integrated and be back into God. And whether or not it ever becomes a soul again, that's for God to decide at a later point. So, I am desperate. I am desperate. I am desperate for many, 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 many souls that I see that they have so much light before them, so much light around them, there's so much positivity. And for some reason, they just think that somehow they're going to be able to either maintain this or, okay, then just let me die. Just let me die. But you don't understand. It's not going to be like that. It's not going to feel like I just die and stop existing. It's not going to happen like that. It's not like, oh well, this one can't be fixed. Nothing. It's not going to be like that. You will experience the disintegrating of all the parts of you and the twisting back all the parts of you that are dark and evil and distorted. You are going to be witnessing them as they're realigned and disoriented, and you will have to know and understand how much of a lie, how much cruelty they were. And it's not going to be, for those who decide that's the path they want to take, it's not going to be pleasant. And we're down to it's the childlike emperor screaming out, say my name, give me a name. I'm screaming. Stand in your divinity. Oh, please, just stand in your divinity as everything's crumbling around us. And you guys are just sitting there silent. And I know I'm going to see sparks. I'm going to see lots of little, I've seen them. I've already seen them. I've seen the sparks. Those that would not align to their divinity. Who would not could not. Who would not. Because their chances, they're there. But it's like, just come on, guys. Just come on. And it's so, I'm going on a rampage. And I know I'm going on a rampage. And I can't they told me. They said, whenever you can't not do something, you're standing in your divinity. I can't not stop doing this. I keep trying to stop myself from doing this. And I can't do it. Because the all of me that exists everywhere and all knows what's happening, knows what's about to occur, and is everything that has ever been of me and of God that is of love is saying, stop it! You can be so beautiful. You can be so fantastic. You can be so happy. Why are you doing this? And I can't stop this. I keep trying to say, I'm just going to, and I can't. Every time I turn around, it's like whoosh. It's just pouring out of me. And I don't know why I can't stop it. Because I've already said all this. And it's not that I'm saying this from my pain. I have pain. But my greatest pain right now is seeing what you guys are doing to yourselves and to your souls. That is my greatest pain. I have pain, yes. There are others out there that are experiencing pain, yes. But the ones who are doing this to their souls, the pain. Because I know that God's going to fix all the owies. He's gonna fix. He's already said, no, I'm not gonna do it slow. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna fix all the owies. I know they're gonna get fixed. I know it's gonna align. I know that I'm gonna say it. In 3 years, when I look back over this, I'm gonna look back and say, wow, I can't believe I was there. I know that. In 3 years, I'm going to look back and say, wow, I can't believe I ever did that. I was ever in that spot. I know that's going to be. And that 3 years is what's been coming into my head. I don't know if that's when it's going to happen. It maybe take that long to after it happens to get realigned. I don't know what. But in 3 years, I know I'm going to be, I'm going to be in a new world. Okay.